Hello, I'm Joshua of Milestone Play, and I am a professional game master. Today we have the second part of my player interview series, where I interview my players in person. Most of my games are held online, and with that, there isn't as much over-the-table camaraderie as you get at a normal home game. Because of that, I've been traveling across the southern United States to visit as many of my players in person as possible, and this is the interviews that we got during that travel. If you want to see the actual vlog, that's over on the side channel, but without any more delay, let's get to those interviews. Starting off our interview, let's go ahead and meet who we're going to be speaking with.
Well, yeah, I'm Conman. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm Tom McBurnett. I played Wolfgar, the barbaric old angry monk, and Gregor, the very optimistic and very charming paladin.
Well, on the Discord, all of you should know me as Monkey. I've currently playing Lyle. I was playing Valen before. And the many one-shot characters I've played.
I'm Cyber. I'm a player in Milestone Play games, and I've played Xanstar Celeste and Zelivia in campaigns.
My name is Greg Downing. On the Discord server, I go by Darth Downing, or just Darth. I have played characters in the Hidden Waters campaigns such as Norin Schvind. In the most recent campaign, I played Astrid Schoberg, amongst various others in one-shots, and that's who I am in character.
How long have you played role-playing games?
How long? Probably about 2 or 3 years. Yeah. You were actually my first real game. Well, I had played one-shots before, but you were my first campaign. So that was very fun getting to experience that with you. And no, I didn't have any experience before that.
Let's see, about 10 years now. A couple years after I got out of the Navy. I guess that's about 10 years now.
I started playing. I was introduced to it when I was real young, probably 12 or 13. I think my father took me to a game with his friends, and we played second edition Oriental Adventures, and that got me hooked on it. But I couldn't really find games to play, and I tried making some games of my own for years. It never worked out, and then I found Josh, and I've been playing steadily for almost 3 years now.
I've played role-playing games for about 3 years now, purely online.
I've played role-playing games for roughly 15 years. I didn't really start playing until after I graduated college. I started with a friend of mine who was a roommate and forever DM, and I've played on and off with him online. I have played almost exclusively online this entire time, from rptools.net to Roll20, on Skype, eventually on Discord. I've actually been on Discord long enough now that my children brag about the fact that my dad's been on Discord longer than I have, and my account is actually older than my oldest, who's a senior in high school.
Why do you play role-playing games?
Why? So, one of the reasons why I was very interested in it is because in my job, I work in insurance. We do role-playing back and forth where I'll basically pretend to be the customer and my coworker will pretend to be the salesman, and we, practice having different conversations, explaining things to people, like trying to educate people better. And so in doing so, the word role play, I kind of familiarized myself with it, made myself comfortable. And then I had a friend at work with a lanyard that had a 20-sided die on it, and I was like, man, I know what that is, but I know nothing about it, and I need you to teach me. And I convinced him to teach me, and it was a really good decision that I made, because it also, like, as soon as the role-playing aspect was put into it, I was like, oh, so this can help me at work too, and like I can learn to do all kinds of different social situations while I'm having fun and playing games with my friends. So that is why I play.
I really enjoy the challenge of it all. most video games, I beat it in a day or two, and it's not super challenging for me, throwing that human element of, somebody not making an optimal decision at times, it's interesting how you have to adjust for that stuff.
To pretend like I have friends. No, I really like the story, and I like being able to step into this other character and just pretend to be something that I'm not, and live this just really cool story once a week, for 4 hours.
I play role-playing games because it's a fun thing to do, first of all, check it out. And second of all, it's just a space where you can do imaginative things with like-minded individuals who also want to do crazy things. That's not really structured anyway.
I play role-playing games because I enjoy the puzzly nature of solving situations, whether they're combat or social situations or just legit puzzles. I also like playing into aspects of my own personality that I don't get to develop, and I can do it in a more neutral or safe environment. I went through a phase of playing charisma-heavy characters because I wanted to develop a more social, the more RP experience or roleplay experience of playing the game rather than just being the combat monkey who sits back and goes, we can finish this off in 2 turns. So now it's more fun to engage on the other side of the game. I went through a phase of playing intelligence-based characters to step away from that, which didn't work, but it was fine. Being the party face with the low charisma just creates for more interesting roleplay, and it was actually fun to do that, knowing that I shouldn't be good at it, and then just leaning into it.
What advice do you have for anyone wanting to start playing RPGs?
Just do it.
Just do it.
Like, it looks... If you watch people play, if like you've ever had an interest in it, and like you watch people play like Critical Role, right? You get this idea of how a game is supposed to go, or like how you're supposed to play it, and you're like, oh God, I can't play, I'll be bad, or or any kind of worry like that. Just do it.
Because I was extremely overwhelmed as soon as I put my hands on a book. Like, that is a lot of numbers and information. But I just looked up online how to get started, and there was lots of people trying to help you get started. And so I was like, oh yeah, sure.
Just play, be bad, because being bad is fun. And I'm bad every time I play, and it's just fun.
I'll just join one of these beginner sessions or something like that, and they, I think, had character building in the beginning of the video, and so I really didn't have to do any legwork at all. It was all, hey, just decide what you want right now, and we all just kind of played around with some ideas. And then once you start a backstory, it's hard to stop. Like, you start building stories, and in your head you're creating complexities to your character, and you can see how they look in your head, and you're just trying to make other people understand, start to get excited, and next thing you know, 4 hours deep into a game.
Mostly just put yourself out there.
First of all, find a steady group, a reliable group to play with. That's probably the easiest way to get into it.
I don't have anybody around here to play with, and went and found them, For the most part, community's real open, real accepting, so put yourself out there. And
talk to your friends and coworkers first. There are a lot of people who play who don't really talk about it as much. It's becoming a lot more socially accepted to talk about it, but at this point, somebody who plays, even if you don't think you do, and people tend to be very accommodating.
Second of all is to not let anyone pressure you into playing in a traditional way. Make your big swings, make your wild takes. It's all gonna be fun.
But there's one phrase that I would urge everyone to remember. Even if you want to try to play, no D&D is better than bad D&D. Like, don't play with a group of people that don't support you on a gaming level, on an emotional level, a social level. Like, if they're not people that are good to play with, it's okay not to play. I've struggled with that over time, but it's made my experience better.
Don't be a...
How did you hear about Milestone Play?
How did I hear about you? There was a website called Start Playing,
Start playing.
Start playing.
Start playing games.
Startplaying.games or SPG.
and I scrolled through there for many campaigns. Actually, I was looking at all the different options, and I believe yours was advertised as a custom campaign. So I was like, oh, it's very free form. It's not going to be too by the book. Like if I don't know what I'm doing, they might not be as upset with me. And so yeah, I reached out. He just, I think, happened to have one availability in a game. So I dropped it in the middle. So there was literally nobody was expecting anything. And so that was also very fun and easy to work with.
I ran across your game on Start Playing when I first got on there, and you had the time slot I was looking for, and it looked interesting. And then after, talking with you, playing with you for a session or two, I really enjoyed how you run things and really enjoyed the group of guys we had.
From Start Playing. I think at one point I just got tired of trying to find local games, so I just Googled online D&D games, and Start Playing came up, and I found one of your games, and it was what had drawn me to it was the home brewed game, and like none of the other campaigns that were on there were offering that, and I was like, I get to make our own story. This is where I'm going. And I've been here since.
I heard about Milestone Play on Start Playing Games. I just wanted to find an online group to play with, and I just filtered through the times I was available.
I heard about Milestone Play. If I really went back to the beginnings, I was looking on subreddits like r/LFG, looking for games. I got a campaign-ish kind of situation set up that way. It was fine. It was free. And the guy put a lot of work into it, and I was very appreciative of it. But I was looking for something that was more consistent and more reliable, and so I thought, I'd go to a paid experience, and startplaying.games or SPG is pretty much the way to do that. And I hit the nail right off the bat. Milestone Play was the first one that fit the campaign style I was looking for. I jumped in at level 4, and that character is notorious in Malpost at this point, so it's a pretty good place to start.
What is a poignant memory you have of one of our games?
So I'll give you my most emotional moment while I was playing is, I told you a minute ago that I really enjoyed making the backstory and adding all these layers of complexity to my character, and I'm gonna be honest, I forgot some of them. And we're playing the game and things are going off left and right that are, like should be in line with my character to be interacting with, and I'm completely missing them at every turn. And then we get all the way into this situation and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I can't be doing this. And I literally had to turn my back on the rest of the party as they're locked in combat, death defying, like fighting for their lives, and I switched sides. And I started basically attacking the allies of the party, and it was because I had written that character a certain way, and like regardless of the situation I had put myself up until then, I wanted to play him that way. And so I was like almost shaking, but because of it's not easy to go against the group a lot of times, and they had no idea what I was doing, and I was trying so hard to play that part. It was so much fun. It wasn't that I was having to try hard. It was very effortless and extremely emotionally taxing, because most of the guys are like, what are you doing? And for me, it was like, I'm living my character, man. So that was fun.
Definitely Wolfgar's freaking ending. When we all died through the power of friendship.
Don't trust the power of friendship. Listen, it sounds great, okay? Like, put our hands together, we'll get through the no. No. When it's time to go, you go. The power of friendship is not going to get you through this dice roll. Leave.
And had that one last session kind of wrapping everybody's stories up. That twist and then gut punch was wonderful, beautiful. Made me emotional. And that's not, something that happens a lot, but I was over there, tears in my eyes from it. So Definitely that.
I'm sorry, you asked for the memory, not that. It was whenever we were fighting the Mummy Lords in our first campaign. We had to close the portal to the Far Realm, or wherever it was going, to block off Marnusht, he who devours. And we killed the Mummy Lord, but we were really, really struggling with this portal. And like, we had the option of walking away, but I was like, let's put our hands together, come around this big circle, and we can just make it go away. And we did, but we also went away. So it's a fond memory, but also a very hurtful one. I love it.
A poignant memory of Milestone Play games is my first character death in my first campaign with them. It was my first multi-party death, and in the 9 house, so that's pretty interesting, I think.
So a poignant memory for me, I've had a little bit of extra time to think about that now. I would say in the most recent campaign, my character Astrid had suffered a terrible loss and was leaning on the parent that she had left, who was not a good mother, but was also actively working against her and the party's goals. So I was able to deliver the final blow in combat, and because I was of the appropriate level of the correct subclass, I was able to erase her as an accursed specter and delivered her to a very dark entity who wanted her soul because she was actively working against his interests as well. And the moment that really kind of sent it off was as I was walking a specter up to this ancient evil. I just kind of held her by the hand and patted her on the shoulder and said, "It's okay, Mama, it's time to go," and sent her soul off to be consumed.
If you had to describe Milestone Plays games in one word, what would it be?
Imagination.
Imaginative.
Yeah, I think I could roll with imagination. I feel like that is what comes to mind whenever I get in the mindset to meet with you and play our games and stuff. Is I get my creative juices flowing. It feels like we're all storytelling. So good imagination.
Epic. Just epic. The story is epic. The gameplay is epic. It's great.
The one word I would use to describe Milestone Play is consequences. While you are playing, things are happening. The world is existing and life is moving on everywhere. When you choose to go to New Dearth instead of Baktron exists and life is moving on there. If you're headed to the Sunken Keshaw, it feels like you're in your own little world, but the rest of the world around you, Lokath, is still brimming with all sorts of activity. Everything is happening at the same time, and you can't do everything all at once. While it feels like you're moving forward and not losing time in other things, there's always a loss, and you have to be able to deal with that. And that makes it feel like a very real story when you're doing that. Like, nothing's on pause when you walk away.
Say emotional. Yeah, because I think your games have been the only ones that actually, like, felt for my character, and it wasn't just pen and paper. Like, I was invested in the story and had an emotional attachment to stuff. So I guess that, I don't know if that's a good word for it, but